Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this Local Government Pensions Board meeting held today, 12th of January 2026. I can confirm that the meeting is quorate. Please note that the public element of today's meeting is being live streamed, and those participating in the meeting have given consent to their inclusion. A recording of the meeting will be available on the City Corporation's YouTube channel following the meeting, and it shall be retained for up to 1 civic year. Thank you. Moving on to apologies for absence. We've received apologies from Christine and McClellan, and also just to let everyone know that Mark Wheatley is attending virtually. Item 2 is members' declarations of interests. Do members have any declarations to make at this stage, please?
I'll just note that I am chairman of the City Academies, the City Academy Islington, and there's a reference to the City Academies Trust as an admitted body.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3, which is the minutes. Firstly, 3A, to agree the public minutes and non-public summary of the Local Government Pensions Board meeting on the 21st of July 2025. These are to agree.
One happy?
Okay. And 3B, these are to note the public minutes and non-public summary of the Pensions Committee meeting on 7th of July 2025 and 22nd of September 2025. Thank you.
I had nothing on that.
Just for members' benefit, we had the meeting in December, but the minutes are not ready in time for this meeting. But just to note that Amanda Luck, who is our pensions accountant, was nominated for the Rising Star of the LGC Annual Investment Awards. And whilst she didn't win, she was highly commended.
Well done. I'm sure we offer our congratulations to you, Amanda. Well done.
Absolutely.
Item oh, sorry, we've done those ones. So I'm moving on to item 4, which is the annual review of the board's terms of reference. And the board's terms of reference are set out in the report. And this is as it says, the annual review, and this is prior to the terms of reference being submitted to the Policy and Resources Committee and then Court of Common Council for approval. I haven't been advised of any comments in advance, Chair.
I think we're happy with those. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5, Pensions Committee update report.
Thank you, Chair. This is the update of the public part of the pensions committees for the last few meetings. There are a number of reports on the paper with more detail, but just for your information, Tim McNally, who was one of the pension committee members, has stepped down. He stepped down at the December meeting. The committee has looked at its terms of reference, not your terms of reference, its terms of reference, and to note they've delegated any changes to the town clerk in consultation with the chair and deputy chair, as under the new pension regulations, when they come in, the independent members will no longer be voting members, whereas at the present time our independent member is a voting member. So that is to note. The risk register administration guidance on transfers out. I think everything else on that you have a short note on are separate items on this agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Moving to item 6.
This is the administration team's standing agenda item detailing the activities of the Pensions Office since the last board meeting. Draw members' attention to the appendices to this report, mainly in non-public, where we detail the number of any IDRP cases, member training, and pensions dashboards matching criteria, which will be in the non-public session of the meeting.
Could I just point out that the URL in the pension committee training part of this report doesn't work, because I did try to connect to it, but I just got error page not found.
Okay, we can try and get the revised link issued to you and make sure everything's to that.
Thank you. I just discussed a call over. I noticed you were talking about trying to make sure that pay slips and P60s are available. Could you just give us a quick update on what's being done and if there's any timeline on that yet?
Certainly. So this is with reference to our online member portal that we are looking after from the Pensions Office to allow members of the pension scheme to access their benefits, details of their benefits online. So for our pensioner members, our aim is to add payslips and P60s to the portal. There is at the moment, however, a project ongoing where a new pay system is being introduced. And there is a certain amount of technical issues with making the payslips from the new system set up in the correct format to make them available on our portal. This is being worked through at the moment. We've been told that it's not unachievable. However, they need to determine exactly how it's going to be done, and I'm afraid we don't actually have any timelines in place at the moment. However, it certainly wouldn't be before the new payroll system gets brought into place, which again, that is something that we're still not entirely sure when it's going to be happening.
Thank you, Graham. I'm sure it'll update us as time goes on.
Item 7 is the risk register for the Pensions Committee.
Thank you. This is the risk register for the Pensions Committee that is taken every 6 months. You'll note in the last report there was an update to include some information around the Virgin Media case under section 37 of the Pensions Act, under pensions number 12, governance and legislative compliance. This is going through as part of the pension schemes bill to allow the actuary to retrospectively sign off some changes to the scheme. This will probably be in early 2026 that the bill succeeds through Parliament. And also at the last Pensions Committee, they noted CHB1 insufficient assets. They thought the current risk was too high at 8, so we're currently reviewing that. The next risk register will go to the February Pensions Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a question on the risk 9, the McLeod remedy. In the table, you report on actions that have been taken, which seem to be indicating that actually you're moving towards completing the work necessary for the McLeod remedy. Could you just tell us where you see that risk going and in which direction and when it might actually start becoming business as usual?
Our expectation is that work with regards to the McLeod remedy will become part in the main business as usual. You're right in that the majority of the work has now been carried out, so we would expect that the next time that this report goes to Pensions Committee, that particular risk will have been looked at, and we would hope to be able to start bringing it down.
Thank you.
Agenda item 8, which is the local government pension scheme transfers out of the scheme, processes and proportions.
This report was written on the back of Barnett-Waddingham's General Code of Practice and Compliance Review, which checked to make sure the City of London Pensions Fund's compliance with the Pension Regulator's General Code of Practice. One of the recommendations that we had a formal document that covered the processes that were used for transfers out of the pension scheme, took account of all the potential pitfalls that may arise for scheme members, and this report provides our formal document that goes through our processes and precautions taken.
Graham, does the pensioners website give any advice on transferring out, or does it point to this document, for example? So if people are idly thinking I might wish to transfer out, they know what's involved.
This document is not on the portal on the website at the moment. However, there is nothing to say that it shouldn't be. I don't think so. I think this is something that we can put up. But as far as advice is concerned, anything that would be construed as advice, we have to steer very clear of. So a lot of our paperwork does refer to the money and pension services, so that is on there. But I think a document like this may well help to kind of.
Yes, it was the wrong use of the word advice. It was certainly not advice in the sort of regulated context. It was a case of if someone who's been in the scheme for a couple of years, say, and is thinking I want to transfer out, you know, it might be helpful for them just to see what good. Actually, it's not a case of ringing you up and say there is a process that has to be followed, and indeed,
all of our correspondence that does go out to scheme members with a transfer quotation includes all of that detail. So people have to have actually left the scheme before they can be considered for a transfer. So it was something that they would have positively started with us in the first instance, and all of our correspondence with them should have covered those circumstances.
okay, thanks.
Under 30k, you can just do it. That's your decision. Over 30k, you need.
You're required to have
Yeah.
the advice.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can't imagine there's a huge demand for that, or I know you can't.
A lot of it, I imagine, will come down to the demographics of different local authorities, or you may find where you have a high turnover of staff, you may have people that leave with very short periods, in which case their transfer values might be very small.
Yeah.
You go to another one where people stay there for a long time, they're career civil servants, if you like, or they may well have significantly larger transfer values.
Agenda item 9, City Fund and Pension Fund Statement of Accounts, Audit Findings and External Auditors Annual Report 24-25.
This is the draft audit findings for 24-25. Since that date, the audit has finalised. The auditors didn't have much to comment. There were 2 best practice recommendations in regards to pensions administration, which hadn't had an internal audit for a while, and the number of members who did not respond to the related party declarations. This was also noted by the City Fund auditors. At the December committee, members actually asked to review the audit recommendations at the February committee to ensure that they were being actioned on.
So when's your audit start, Graham?
I've got my first formal meeting with the internal auditors tomorrow, so I've got that to look forward to.
Okay, and how long is it expected to take?
It's off the top of my head, it's 2 weeks of data gathering, and we're expecting the results by the end of March.
So you'll be able to give us some sort of readout for our next meeting then?
Agenda item 10, Local Government Pension Scheme Fair Access Consultation.
So this is a report for information for board members following the government consultation with regards to access and protections, commonly referred to as the LGPS Fair Access Consultation. The report just covers the highlights of what has been proposed. The City of London chose not to comment on the consultation, but this covers what the consultation should be delivering.
When are the changes likely to come in? Have we got any indication yet?
There are some indications for a couple of the proposals. So, for instance, the minimum pension age, that's already set in stone that comes in from April 2028. The access for mayors and councillors, there is potential. The draft regulations have an indicative date of the 1st of April 2026, but again, they are only draft regulations, and so until the formal regulations come out, we don't actually know. They haven't yet had draft regulations released, so we don't know when they're expected.
So in terms of any admin load on you and indeed communication you need to do, you're just watching this space until the guidance is issued?
Certainly, yes, exactly that.
Item 11, LGPS communications issued to scheme members.
As one of our standing agenda items, the Pensions Office brings to the board any correspondence that has been updated or amended since the last review. We haven't actually had any amendments made to our main correspondence. However, one of the things that we have been doing is producing our annual benefit statements and an electronic version via our online member portal. So the appendix to this report is a copy of the accompanying notes that went with the ABSs this year, as well as a printout of that electronic annual benefit statement.
Thank you for that, Graham. I'm very comprehensive, as I remarked in call over. It just shows you how complicated pensions has now become, that you need such a long statement to cover the various options and the things you have to consider.
Yeah.
Item 12 is questions on matters relating to the work of the board. I haven't been notified of any in advance, Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that takes us on to item 13. Any other business that the Chairman considers urgent? That's none. So moving then on to item 14, which will be to exclude the public from the meeting. The committee is asked to agree that the following motion, that the public be excluded from the meeting from the following items that relate to business under the remit of the Common Court of Council, acting in line with requirements of the Public Services Pensions Act 2013, relating to pension scheme governance, to which Part 5A and Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 Public Access to Meetings provision do not apply. Please could I ask for a couple of minutes while we end the live stream?